Hello, everybody. We're at the CEE Fintech Tour with a focus on Hungary. We're here for the second panel with the key fintech investments and M&A activity implications for the Hungarian market growth. Basically, we had a first fintech focused on the banking and the financial sector. Now we're looking a bit at the startup section and seeing exactly what we have kind of lying in store for Hungary. I'm going to invite next to me Kristóf from Big Media to join us and lead the discussion for today, together with panelists from Acounto, Payee, Fiedler Capital, and Venture Capital and Venture Studio. Hello, Kristóf. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Alexandra, and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Kristóf Csányi. I am Business Development Manager at Payee, and today we're going to have an interesting panel discussion joined by our panelists, Ferenc, Brachmann, Bence, Badinszky, Bocskov, and Imre, Hild, about fintech investments and M&A in the fintech industry here in Hungary. Hungary's fintech scene is steadily growing in the recent years. It is driven by the consumers who are increasingly comfortable with online and mobile banking, with digital wallets and app-based financial services. That is really making the Hungarian fintech more and more growing. And also regulations are driving with PSD2 in the direction of getting more and more the fintechs involved in the financial landscape. So I would like to invite our panelists. So if you could give us a short introduction of yourself. Let's start with Ferenc.
Hey guys, my name is Ferenc Brachmann. I'm the strategy officer and co-founder of Acounto, and we do automated accounting, VAT, payroll, and tax advice.
Bence?
Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Bence Badinszky, also from Hungary, and we are doing a business called Payee, which is actually a fintech and a low-tech hybrid startup. And we are focusing on debt collection, especially the legal action part. So we are doing a digital debt collection platform for SME businesses. So we are focusing on the small entrepreneurs to help get their money back if there is an overdue invoice. That's what we do.
Jordan?
Hi, this is Jordan from Fiedler Capital. I've been doing early stage VC for the past 10 years or so. Had the privilege to participate in investments towards some quite successful regional companies, not only in the fintech sector, but quite in a dispersed manner.
And Imre?
Yes, hi. Sorry guys, I'm sitting in the car. Budapest traffic is a bit jammed up. I'm the CEO of OUVC. It's an early stage venture capital and venture studio here in Budapest. We are associated with Óbuda University. We do early stage. We plan to do 40 deals in the next 5 years. We are not focusing on fintech. It is among the fields that we would like to invest in. So far, we have 4 investments and 4 in the making. And we are actually interested in anything and everything in technology.
Great to hear that. So let's begin and jump into our discussion. So first, let's explore the overall fintech investment landscape of Hungary. So let's start with the first question. What trends do you think define the fintech investment and M&A activities currently in Hungary? We can go in the same order as we did the introductions.
Oh well, I think if we need to take this order, I would like to start with So Central and Eastern Europe is quite a small market, and I think that's probably one of the first things you have to understand here, is that in order for anyone to scale out into any major markets, you have to nail something here. And in order to do that, as an entrepreneur, that's what we're all after, in order to find something that's scalable, but you can actually take out to other markets. Now, in our case, we actually have a lot of trends. Someone mentioned PSD2, and I would like to add PSD3 as well. So also the digital invoicing EU directive is very helpful in our case, because we're not a low-tech fintech, we're a reg-tech fintech hybrids, in the sense that, so basically what we do is a compliance service for small and mid-sized businesses. And there's quite a lot of legislation in the EU that actually enables us to be, from a strategical perspective, be very, very competitive in the long run. Once the EU regulation kicks in all markets, it is able, we see our ability to scale this out. Not sure that this is applicable easily to all fintechs, but that's what we can add to this discussion here, and I'll pass it on to Bence.
Yeah, just in a few words, what I would add here is like the trend, what we see actually is that, and this is what we are focusing on, that small businesses looking for solutions to do everything online, because as you experience, you can do banking online. Okay, it became a standard right now. Shopping online as well. But as Ferenc said, like accounting online, so just easily open an account, and 5 minutes later you send everything you need to do, and no telephone call, no mobile phone call is needed. This is what small businesses are looking for today, and actually this is our main goal at Payee, that help the businesses do everything related to the everyday tasks, including that collection. So we are doing something that saves time for their and reduce administration related stuff. So actually, this is a trend we are seeing, that everyone is looking for very easy solutions with the minimum contacting needed with humans. And this is what we are looking for. We are focusing on, actually, in a few words.
Yeah, I'm going to take the lead on. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to be the bad guy here, because I have been investing across Central Eastern Europe and the Baltics, not only in Hungary for the past few years, very actively. And I have to tell you that we've been experiencing kind of like a lagging behind of the Hungarian startup ecosystem in general, and this holds true for the fintech sector as well. What we have seen in the past is that some classic complex workflows have been digitalized, or some emerging startups have been tackling problems that would kind of ease up on the regulatory side. But for the past few years, I haven't seen like anything like really groundbreaking that emerge. Of course, there are like success stories that are doing okay. But if you compare the Hungarian ecosystem to the Baltic region, for instance, or the other CEE countries, then I kind of like have the feeling that we are not quite there yet.
I fully agree with you. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really see much real fintech innovation. What I see very often is kind of a following trend, when some of the startups or early stage companies are following the trend that is coming and that is already visible in some other major markets. And I definitely don't see any financial product innovation, which I think in the age of AI and quantum, it should be already here. Solving some of the complex financial product issues that internationally the banking industry used to struggle with. I don't see that here. And again, I see little, real innovation in fintech. But again, if the market is sustaining all of this level of innovation, that's we have to deal with that. Actually, I'm saying this, and I have to add that we really don't pay attention to the Hungarian market. So what the company is doing in the Hungarian market, we always look at what their capabilities and their possibilities are internationally. So so in that sense, there is a lag which is quite pronounced. Thank you.
Thank you. So already highlighting a few of the challenges that fintech companies are facing in Hungary, maybe a little bit of criticism towards them. So for the next question, you already mentioned a few of the challenges, but how do you see, in your view, what makes Hungary either attractive or challenging market for fintech growth? And try to focus a bit more on the attractive side also.
Okay, I have some positivity to add here. So some of the EU regulation, for example, in our case, mandatory B2B and B2C e-invoicing, for example, was actually mandated in 2021. And some of the laggards, for example, in Germany, it's going to be mandated for everyone on January 1st, 2028. So in our case, for example, we actually are able to leverage some of this. Well, it's kind of like a, regulatory advantage, because the Hungarian market, even though you wouldn't think of the Hungarian market as being quite advanced in most major digital trends, in our case, for example, in the digital cash registers also are mandated, and digital e-invoicing is also mandatory for all organizations. These trends actually do help us kind of be quite early, because some of so basically our home market being able to be more open to doing accounting online in a completely digital and remote manner. In case, for example, in the German market, for example, invoicing is still, mom and pop stores still do invoices in Microsoft Word, for example. So, and so that means that there's actually some good news there, but it's obviously it's few and far between. So this is not something that's like a trend. We do have some regulatory advantages here in the Hungarian market.
Yeah, actually, I would like to relate to what you just said. So these regulatory things in Hungary, it's quite good among the EU countries. So that's actually a benefit in Hungary. And another thing, that Hungary has a strong technical talent pool, I would mention. So, and Central European location, it's a great hub to get started, to do a pilot, test the business model, for example. So it's not the most expensive in the whole EU to test your business model. This is the positive part. But maybe I would mention that what we experienced in the last 2 or 3 years, that the digital maturity of the small businesses and the attitude of the business owners maybe not the highest in the whole European Union. So maybe that could be challenging for get started and try to. So that the sales part, the sales part getting could be very challenging for the early stage fintechs to try to, to change the mindsets of the business owners, that a digital thing, it's a good thing. They save time with administration if they, for example, try an online accounting, online debt collection, online invoicing. So to sum it up, I would say as time goes by, it helps us to get a standard in the minds of the business owners. So there's the situation, what we experience.
In general, the main difficulty about the Hungarian market is that it's quite small in size. So in case an emerging startup or any kind of venture would like to set foot in their own industry, it is sufficient enough to pilot out the concept and get to a basic proof. But in order to scale the business, founders are inevitably forced to go to tackle a larger market outside, either be it like a DACH region or just go straight to the US. And good thing is that good thing in the bad is that lately I've been experiencing quite a trend that local founders are checking out the basic viability of the product locally, but then they actually like start moving to the aforementioned larger markets to start scaling the business. So while in the past, let's say 10 years, earlier we could see that such openness or willingness to go abroad would be improving. Now we see that some of the startups are actually thinking to go abroad as early as possible, and because of that, in some instances they don't even look at the local constraints or the local regulatory hurdles. They're shooting at the target markets difficulties and how to solve them.
Yeah, on a more positive note, I agree that the talent is here. If you look at some of the Western European or even American financial technology companies or fintech startups, many of them do a lot of work here in Eastern Europe and primarily also in Hungary. So the talent is there. And I think that probably the reason why when we talk about fintech, very often we talk about accounting tech, is because that's where the demand is. And banks and financial institutions, typically, they are sales offices. They are actually into selling mortgages and selling financial products, and not that much into innovation. And so that reflects on the abilities and on the possibilities of startups also. But on the positive side, as Jordan mentioned, after a short experimentation here in this market, just testing the waters, they can actually go international. So that's the positive aspect. And I guess over time, when there is a kind of a new wave of financial institutions in this country, hopefully then this trend is going to change, and there will be more kind of innovation-focused financial institutions, because again, in the age of AI and blockchain and quantum, there are myriads of opportunities that should be taken advantage of instead of doing the same old as we experience it.
So really good to end on a high note. So we have the talent, we have the opportunities, but also we have some challenges. You've mentioned the market size, scaling, difficulties in sale. So now that we finished this question on a high note, let's go back and focus more on the challenges. what do you see are the biggest hurdles for fintech companies that they encounter when seeking funding or pursuing an acquisition?
Tough one. Who's starting? Because it's not me.
I'm going to start. I think still we are very much over-regulated here in the EU, and Hungary is not an exception to that either. So the biggest hurdle is probably how to get the specific technology or business concept or idea compliant with the regulatory background. And rules and regulations are one thing. Bureaucracy is a top layer that comes as an addition to all of this. And because of that, I think the Hungarian environment is probably not the most fostering for really innovative, disruptive fintech startups. I mean, of course, it depends on what kind of angle they are tackling the fintech sector, but regulations are quite a distraction.
Well, let me add to that what I see in after reviewing 350 recent applications, applications for funding. Number one, the capital structure of companies is really in bad shape because there's simply not a good norm of funding. What amount of equity an investor should take, and what privileges, what rights, control, and information rights an investor should get. It's all over the place, and typically it results in a kind of a distorted cap table, which is not to the benefit of the startupper or the entrepreneur. That's one. Two, and probably two should be number one. If you look at the average fund size in Hungary, it's about 30 million euros. 30 million euros is the average funding amount in a Series B internationally. So we are talking about funds here that have the amount of money that a startup has in year 4 internationally. I just spoke with a couple of friends of mine, and that's kind of the average. 25 and 40 million is what they take in as funding, and now we are actually running funds for 10 years with the same amount. So I think there is a distortion in that also, that we lost scale. So often, we fund companies that are undervalued, which is good for us but bad for the companies, and they are undervalued because their opportunities are also limited, unless they are already represented internationally. So, once a company actually realizes that international success has a multiplier effect, and they get to talk to the proper mentors and advisors and investors at the right time to realize how they can actually increase their own valuation, that's when they can actually make the big jump. That's why accelerators like Techstars and Y Combinators and all the others are so good for these early stage startups, because they open their eyes early on before making many of the so-called typical startup mistakes. But I think it's only over time that as internationalization, even in this funding and accelerator industry, is spreading more and more, that more startups realize that what the real value is. Thank you.
One thing I would like to add to this, agreeing with everyone, one other major thing is happening right now. I think that the capital requirements are going to be, I think, significantly lower for the future, mostly because of AI. Is that what we're experiencing right now, even in our own in-house? Is that I think that AI is going to have a very, very big effect in, and there's actually, Imre mentioned YC. I think that I just read a stat that, so the current YC batches code base. 25% of the code base of the current YC batch was written by AI, if I remember correctly. Also, I think Google also had some similar statements with some significant amount of their code already written by AI. And I think that is going to, so that's going to significantly change the capital requirements and also the scalability issues. Also, I would like to, touch back to thoughts of Jordan on what. So, all sorts of fintech and regtech has a lot of red tape to cut through, and I think that AI also does a very good job there. I think Revolut released a white paper on this, that they already have a significant chunk of their compliance work done by models. Klarna also has a famous example of having 70% of their help desk issues solved with AI as well. So I think that those are actually going to be significantly. So in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to be experiencing a significantly altered landscape because AI is so powerful.
Yes, but just to reflect back on that a little bit, true thing that all these startups are going to be more efficient, and it's quite valid that probably the delivery time of an MVP or a go-to-market time needed for the GTM might be decreased somewhat, but I don't think that that startups would eventually require less of a capital investment as a consequence of that. I don't think that there's going back when it comes to valuations, like returning to pre, I don't know, like 22 levels of valuations, because on the other side, that there's quite an inflationary effects of global economic happenings, and I don't think that it will actually have a positive impact on funding round sizes. But nevertheless, I think the resources that would be available will be used much more efficiently, and probably more solid solutions will be achieved through the course of that 18 months of runway that the typical early stage funding round covers.
Okay, thank you. Ferenc, you didn't want to start this round, but I would like to circle back to you with a direct question. From your perspective at Acounto, what's the biggest challenge fintechs and you are facing today in securing investment? And how can you differentiate yourself to appeal to investors in this competitive landscape?
Mm-hmm. So I'm not probably not qualified to talk in the name of all fintechs. Obviously, there's one major change in our life in the past few months. Well, not more than a year now, actually, is a multimodal generative AI has gotten to the point where it's we can actually have it in production workloads. We've been having it for a few months now. It's turning out to be immensely efficient and precise, surpassing human precision in pretty much in all benchmarks. And in our case, it's actually, what's really interesting now is that we can actually fulfill our original vision of having accounting and turning it completely into a SaaS, and basically have something like, and that's also going to show up in our metrics and our also in our in our finances as well, getting to like a SaaS like experience and a SaaS like P&L for VCs to look at.
Okay, hope to be one of the great success stories. And let's continue with the successes we see in the Hungarian market. Can you guys share examples of successful fintech investments or M&As in Hungary?
Well, of course, I'm always proud to talk about CEON, which is quite on the edge between cybersecurity and fintech. But probably all of you you know about this Hungarian success story. I'm privileged to have participated as a first investor coming into the cap table at CEON. Since then, those guys are really rocking it. They raised, I think, around like 150 million altogether in several rounds, and are going international with such investors behind them as IVP and Creandum. That's clearly one of the unicorns, or I think they're quite close to that level actually, to become a unicorn soon. One of the first Hungarian companies to reach that level actually. So I think that's one of the success stories. But there have been some local really more active teams that are not scaled on an international level to such extent that are actually doing okay, like Barion, Pay, or of course Ferries and Bence's startups are quite good examples on an earlier stage that it can be pulled together and businesses can be launched from Budapest or Hungary.
It's a bit earlier example. It's called Facecom. A friend of mine, Zsigmond Bodnár, built that company. It's a KYC company. He built it only for financial institutions, started with banks and then moved on to other financial institutions. In the aftermath of COVID, he sold the company to a fund. Have you heard of that acquisition, the Facecom acquisition? Okay, well, you heard it because you're an investor, yeah. But most people haven't heard of it, and you know why? Because there was no investor in it. He did it all by himself as an entrepreneur. No investor. And if there is no investor, it's no news in Budapest. That's a pity, I think. This guy, Zsigmond, actually built another company. He actually said he's going to build a $1 billion forint company in 30 days based on AI. And in 30 days, he built a company that had a monthly revenue of 220,000 euros. So that reached, based on that quick valuation, it reached $1 billion forint. We never heard of it because although he invited a dozen, news media, nobody showed up because there was no investor in it. I think that kind of a bias is a pity. And I think that we should celebrate the entrepreneur who is actually capable of building something on very, very small amount of resource just because of their own, business acumen and capabilities. And that's what I'm actually, looking for when I'm looking for an investable company. And obviously, businesses benefit greatly from investments, and the investment is probably one of the best fuel of a good business. But I think we should actually sometimes recognize that at the heart of it, the entrepreneur is necessary.
Imre, can you tell us the name of the second second company you mentioned. That's
it's YOLO.
YOLO.
YOLO.ai.
I will check that. That sounds
it's an education tool based on AI. Well, I'm not going to advertise it. Just look it up if you want. YOLO.ai.
Okay, thank you. I will check that.
Sure.
But that's kind of like a vicious circle, you know, in my opinion. That, of course, I don't want to be the negative guy here, but the issue again is that there aren't so many success stories, and it's kind of like a regenerative issue, because the more success stories there are, the more taste the younger generation gets from the upsides of a potential venture track, and we are very much lacking these success stories, and that's kind of like a holdback factor here in the market.
Yeah, I think I totally agree that compared to the level of talent that we have, if we compare the level of success stories, there's definitely a mismatch, and I think that we should recognize that. Yeah.
If you look at the Romanian market, for instance, with the UiPath success, a whole new wave of entrepreneurs emerged, and the startup ecosystem started fostering very much as compared to, let's say, the Hungarian one. So I'm really cheering and hoping for the best that sooner or later something similar can break out from Budapest.
Yeah.
Yeah, really hope for that. Can you tell us about your story, Bence? How specifically has investment helped you and Payee to scale and grow successfully?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, so far we have little experience with seeding and investments, because actually about 3 years ago we received only a pre-seed investment, and that helped us to speed up development velocity, and of course by hiring new developers. So this is the standard way. So based on this, we could build new features faster and making the customers happier at the end of the day. And the second effect was that it also allowed us to allocate more resources to our ongoing integration. That was the integration with Számlás.hu, and we are very proud of this integration until now too. And as a result, it successfully launched after a few months, and it remains our biggest partner and a very significant part of our revenue as well. And until now and today, day by day, we help thousands of people in Számlás.hu and small business owners in that collection processes. So that was absolutely key benefit, a key effect of this pre-seed investment. And so on the whole, I would say that this funding made it possible to develop our new stable infrastructure and a solid and stable technological foundation to expand our business, because actually our last 3 years were improving and stabilizing this infrastructure, and 2025 is about to expand our whole service to the whole European Union. So this is our very progressive goal for this year, to be present in the whole EU. Currently, and the current state is Hungary and Slovakia. In these countries, Payee is available, but at the end of the day, hopefully in the whole European Union. So these were the main effects related to growth that we can thank for the pre-seed investment we raised. In a few words, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And now let's look into the future. Let's try and predict what's going to happen. Where do you guys see fintech investment heading in Hungary over the next 3 to 5 years? check our crystal balls. What does it say?
Well, if I may start, I think that we definitely see in the last couple of years we see a democratization of funding with the with the appearance of Payee, as he started an angel fund, which was also publicly funded because he IPO'd. So people can participate. I mean, small investors also can participate more in these investment vehicles, and actually, startups can also have more more diverse sources of revenue, and that add to that equity crowdfunding, which is becoming more and more known, and it's spreading. According to the head of the largest Hungarian crowdfunding platform, the size doubled every year of the backers. So I think that the more it becomes a commonplace thing to talk about fintech and talk about crypto and talk about blockchain and all the other household names, I think that the more it will become a kind of a skill for the average business person to deal with startups. That that makes them more attractive, and probably there will be a little more funding from the democratized side. Obviously, institutional investments are not going to be affected by that. What I see is that there is plenty of pent-up demand internationally who wants to come into this Hungarian marketplace and would like to invest. I hear about 3 or 4 initiatives already. So I think that the future is not going to be bleak for sure.
I think that just one. Sorry, Jordan, go ahead, please.
Let's go. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Bence.
I just wanted to add one short note here that related to someone mentioned earlier that what we expect to see is more RegTech and more low-tech startups, not only fintechs, because small business owners and entrepreneurs are looking for these standards, like doing my legal stuff, doing my things that used to be done by humans in a platform as a first solution. So this is my prediction for the future. Let's see what will happen for real. But regulatory technology and this legal industry disruptions will, the number of these businesses will increase based on my thoughts here. So that's for the 3 to 5 year prediction.
Yeah, definitely. That's an area of improvement where we could see some new emerging opportunities. I also think that with the intensifying AI landscape, probably with AI agents emerging and new AI technologies crawling into the fintech sector, probably the local Budapest scene is going to be fueled by that AI disruption as well. Probably the key is connecting systems and democratizing vintage legacy systems with new neobank solutions, new wallet solutions. Probably like the international trends are gonna sneak into to these local ecosystems as well. The question is like how local entrepreneurs are going to take advantage of them.
Yeah. You've mentioned AI and quite a few things to answer my next question, but maybe the others have some things to add. So what sectors in fintechs or what technologies do you believe will attract the most funding in the next years? I believe AI is definitely going to be one of those. Do you see some other sectors?
Well, anything that would ease out the workloads related to financial management and also the educational side of using financial solutions are something that would surely follow.
Okay, few questions to our investors here today. Imre, just to help everyone following us avoid some mistakes, what do you see are the most common mistakes fintech startups are making, and mistakes they should avoid when they are seeking funding?
Yeah, I think it's a, we can say that it's a fintech startup mistake, but probably it's a more generic one. Well, number one, believing their own ideas, and they believe that that's that their assumptions are reality, and they actually forget to validate their idea, and that's number one. Obviously, in order to validate the idea, they have to talk to the customers, and they have to know where the customers are. And I think it's an age-old question, and we can't avoid, talking about it. Number two is looking for investment when they need the investment. I always advise them to start to talk to investors early, very, very early on a human basis, as a kind of a friendly conversation. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is where we are at. And if you keep investors in the loop, it actually gives more credibility to your story, and actually is easier to deal with a person who has a kind of an informal relation. That would be the other advice, that not to look for an investor in a campaign mode, but more in a kind of a friendly mode. And number three is growing too fast, but that happens rarely. But when it happens, then it is typically a lot of problem. So number one and number two, going to investors only when the money is needed and believing their own assumptions. That's the biggest killer in my experience.
Thank you. Okay, we're closing in 5 minutes. And one more question for you, Jordan. So we've heard about mistakes we need to avoid. What are the things that can make a fintech startup especially attractive to investors?
Well, that's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily make a differentiation between a whatever sector startup and a fintech. When I think startups have to have the same kind of attributes that lead them to future success. And one thing is, of course, the team. It's at the end of the day, you have to have the human resources that are complementary to each other. That guys or girls that are capable of pulling it together and have the great ambition that is required to set up a globally successful business. That's one thing. Second, of course, there has to be a solid technological background, or at least the skill set that is there to be able to build the technology from ground zero. The third one is, of course, the hustle factor. All these startuppers, all these founders need to be able to sell the product. Doesn't matter whether it's a fintech or a marketplace or a SaaS or anything else. But in fintech, I think it's even more important that sales skills have to be in place, and the team has to know how to take the product to market and how to tackle the target audience. And just to connect with Imre on this topic, he mentioned timing and practically, I would also add here that that timing is crucial when it comes to going to market. Like some of the teams are not only doing or trying to achieve everything too fast, but some others are even waiting a bit longer and taking their time to develop the perfect product. Many fintechs failed because they were afraid to launch the product and go to market and test the waters, and they were just like shooting to excel the given technology to the maximum. They should just go to the largest possible market straight up and try it out, because bad news is also good news, because in that case they know like how to pivot or move forward. And this is the mixture that the fintech needs.
Yeah, thank you. Some closing thoughts, Bence or Ferry, connecting to what Jordan and Imre said about your experiences around these?
Since I'm in an early stage startup, I try to take these recommendations. That's what I will think about. That for sure. I will take these and think about that for sure. So thank you, by the way.
Same here.
Same here. Good luck. Good luck for you too. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ferenc, Bence, Jordan, and Imre. Some really great insights today.
Thanks.
And I hope our audience also enjoyed it. Have a great rest of the day, and thank you all for this discussion.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for being with us, sharing your thoughts and opinions on the ecosystem. And see you all this June at UNCHAIN Festival in Oradea. Goodbye.